to MazatlanMyCity.com. You are now watching The Spirit of Mazatlan. Hi, Simon. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Debs. I'm good, and really looking forward to the show because it continues our theme of Made in Mazatlan and Sinaloa, and we've got another special guest. But again, before we get to that, the Malecon.
I can't believe it.
The lights.
So beautiful.
Unbelievable.
I mean, now everything is so bright when you're walking at night.
Oh, I mean, it's just an incredible experience.
You know, they're just putting so many fine touches to it. I was driving by yesterday and I saw all the garbage cans. They all have like sea themes, like there's a big sea lion and like a big whale with his mouth open.
Really?
It's really cute.
I haven't seen them.
No, it's well, because you haven't been looking for the garbage cans.
That's absolutely true. I tend not to do that.
It's like a little piece of art, like we have all the statues on the Malecon and all that. It's just one more thing, the small little details. And that's what I've been really noticing about the historical area, the Malecon, all these attention to a lot of fine details.
Well, and in fact, today we have the pleasure of inviting a guest on to the show who is a prominent businessman in Mazatlan, the owner of Pedro y Lola's. Let's welcome Alfredo Gomez Rubio.
Hey, Simon. Hola, Debra.
Hola.
Buenas.
So, Alfredo, we want to talk about Centro Historico. First question, where is it? For the benefit of our viewers.
That's a good question. Where is it? Yeah. Well, it's standing right now in a second curve, modern curve. You know, revitalization of Centro Histórico started maybe 20 years ago, but really was launched like 13 years ago. Different government projects and particular entrepreneurs that started doing things. And then we went through the last years, and right now we can see a great new future. I call it the second curve. And new neighborhoods of Centro Histórico have been evolving and developing, which weren't being used.
Right.
Like Olas Altas is an emerging market right now, an emerging neighborhood for ocio and entertainment. And Niños Héroes, before everything was concentrated in Plaza Machado, now it's getting spread in multi-center. And that's something we were looking at a long time ago, but it came with the times, you know.
Tell us about the buildings and the history of some of the buildings.
And the architecture.
Okay, actually, Mazatlan is not really a colonial city. We were never colonial. That's very important to know because sometimes we use it as a slang or as an adjective, you know. But we're sitting in a house that's about 150, 160 years old, and this is the oldest we have. Mazatlan really comes from the second quarter of the 19th century, and mostly we're a product of the 49ers, you know. That's the migration from New York to San Francisco coming in the late 49s and in the 50s. And so in the 100 to 120 day cruise route, they would go to Valparaíso in Chile, which is also a historical port in the Pacific. They would come to Callao in Peru. That's also a historical port. That was the route. We even talked about reviving that route. New York, Valparaíso, Callao, Mazatlan, and then San Francisco. What happened? We were the last port of touch before getting to San Francisco, and then the first port of touch before heading to San Francisco. So all these newcomers to America from Europe that would be a little more adventurous, they would want to move to San Francisco for the gold rush. So they would be coming to look for the gold.
I had no idea.
So that created many of them people stay here because the trip was so long. So they stayed here waiting for the next ship, and we had all these maritime routes coming from the east already coming. So then a big market evolved. What happened? You know, not colonial. You don't see so many churches in any colonial inland town, and this was really created by multinationalities. You know.
Oh, that's really
and that makes the people how they are.
And the European influence. I'm from Europe. I'm from England, and what I've noticed and what continues to amaze me and delights me is the beautiful architecture and the amount of European influence in this city. The French, the Spanish, the Germans, and it's quite incredible because you can see it. I think you were mentioning that downtown Centro is kind of like
New Orleans.
The
French Quarter of New Orleans. I mean, it is.
Let me tell you, one of our old guys that he already passed away. He did a lot for the city. Antonio Haas. He was the first Mexican to ever go to Harvard for college, not for postgraduate. When he came there, his dean stopped him. Where do you come from? That's in the late 40s. And he said, I'm coming from a town, but no, nothing special, you know. All the cities are the same, all the houses are the same, and it's called Mazatlan. And then the dean from Harvard told him, you know what? That's called style. And Antonio has said, the scales of my eyes fell and I started seeing, you know. So he started stopping the deterioration from the 50s, but people wouldn't believe him. They thought he was just looking for some value for his house.
Right.
So this what you see is a product of mostly the French influence of neoclassical. This is a really neoclassical French right after, you know. They were here in the 1860s and they stayed here. The influence did a lot in Mexico, right. and that's when it really happened. Mazatlan was really, the big development was 1850s to 2000. Then came revolution, different things, but that's where it came from. So you see a lot of German influence. We had a lot of Chinese living here, Eastern people. Mm-hmm. They were producing a lot on a pretty small scale, but all in all, they were the most important. But there were 3 or 4 very important German houses. We had a big influence. Right. There were Spanish houses, but the Spanish didn't create so much influence like in any other colonial towns. Mm-hmm. And that's what you see, and this city is very different. You know, from
so what do you see the future of Centro Historical?
First, we gotta control the growth, and because it's a pretty finite space, the only thing that cannot grow in Mazatlan is Centro Historico. You know,
right?
Mazatlan, as one said, or the mayor said, this is like a home, like a baseball court or field. So we're right in the El Faro, or Centro Historico is like the home plate.
Right.
So it spreads from the fielders to the right, to the center, to the left. Yeah. But it'll spread. There'll be a lot of offer there, and this is finite. So we got like 452 houses that are being a national site now. What I see coming in the near future is new people coming, like you came 4 years ago, like, you know, and mostly attracted by this change. And we're ready to be a game changer besides the tourism industry, in the people that want new residents coming here. That's what made Mazatlan in the last half of 19th century.
Right. Okay. So
we're ready for that. It's a new era, and I see the second curve getting close here. Right. You know, maybe it'll end up if we do the right things with an old marina, which was the really old marina in Old Mazatlan where the boats are.
Yep.
In Playa Norte, and that's a great project of a marina. Maybe for 2020, if we get things going, we'll have a city marina where you can come in your boat and just get off the street like any European city that you go to a marina, you go to the grocery, you go to the bar right there, and you don't have to go very far, you know. So this will be like a culmination of the whole development that really started when it started to bounce back.
This is a wonderful vision to share with all our viewers, and actually, I mean, from my point of view, exactly, because, you know, you start to watch this area evolve, and it's so beautiful. You see these houses being, you know, regenerated, remodeled, being brought back. But now I can actually picture the vision. I can actually see where this is going, and actually it crystallizes it for me, because if you are talking about new generations of people coming from the international communities, coming here to retire, coming here to become a resident, not necessarily retire. And it's because of the attraction of Mazatlan and because of all that. And you'll see this development. I can see that picture now. We've been in Travel and Leisure, New York Times, and San Juan, San Francisco on the papers. And the revival of downtown is very important for the whole city. Right.
And what we see in the very close future, new neighborhoods coming for the new corridor going to the pier, people making commercial and some more resident coming, living there, you know, because that's a good cost of opportunity right now. Because when we started Proyecto Centro Histórico, which is a civil association in 2002, I chose just a 50-block space arbitrarily. You know.
You picked it?
Yeah, you said I chose it to start working on it. When I say that, we had the best council here, you know.
Oh, that's
of
really
13
cute.
people, all different people, you know. And what we did here is we say, okay, let's get from Cathedral to Olas Altas, because the other space is totally different. Market, and that's another commercial site that they might be changing with their image. So we got to relive this part of town.
Wonderful.
And it kind of came out. Now we got more than 65 restaurants and bars from Cathedral to Olas Altas.
And long may it continue. And I'm sure with you at the helm, this city is going to continue to grow and develop in a most beautiful way. So much.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Alfredo, for coming on the show. It's been a real delight, and it's so exciting.
That is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brenda.
Thank you.
And we're going to tune out with our music. And before Alfredo goes, although he's just left the set, but that's okay. He's a busy man. He needs to go somewhere. See ya. So,
sorry.
That's okay. Anyway, music from Mundo Sanchez. See ya. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This is a song from Joan Manuel Serrat, and it calls Tu nombre me sabe a hierba. ¿Por qué te quiero a ti? ¿Por qué te quiero? Cerré mi puerta una mañana y eché a andar. ¿Por qué te quiero a ti? ¿Por qué te quiero? Dejé los montes y me vengo al mar. Tu nombre me sabe a hierba, de la que nace en el valle a golpes de sol y de agua. Tu nombre me lleva atado en un pliegue de tu talle y en el bies de tu enagua. ¿Por qué te quiero a ti? ¿Por qué te quiero? Aunque estás lejos yo te siento a flor de piel. ¿Por qué te quiero a ti? ¿Por qué te quiero? Se hace más corto el camino aquel. Tu nombre me sabe a hierba, de la que nace en el valle a golpes de sol y de agua. Tu nombre me lleva atado en un pliegue de tu talle y en el bies de tu enagua. ¿Por qué te quiero a ti? ¿Por qué te quiero? Mi voz se rompe como el cielo al clarear. ¿Por qué te quiero a ti? ¿Por qué te quiero? Dejo esos montes y me vengo al mar. Tu nombre me sabe a hierba, de la que nace en el valle a golpes de sol y de agua. Tu nombre me lleva atado en un pliegue de tu talle y en el bies de